Is Britain broken on the labour? Let's hear from former Prime Minister Liz Truss as she joined Mike Graham on TalkTV to discuss the nation's challenges and possible solutions to turn it around. Plus, learn a game-changing leadership principle. Transform your leadership by renewing your mindset. Before we get into the details, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
I know you want to talk about the Bank of England, you want to talk about the economy, which we do want to do, but I must ask you about Angela Rayner. Angela Rayner currently sitting in the middle of a storm. We're being told that there might be a decision made today from this sort of the ethical standards body that's looking into what she did. I mean, she can't possibly hang around, can she?
It's looking very difficult for her. I mean, she's a first-class hypocrite.
Yeah.
She spent years and years attacking Tories over tax, over second homes, and you know, she's been found not paying enough tax.
Right.
And it's just the sheer hypocrisy of these people. You know, ever since they've gone into government, it's been one scandal after another, you know, accepting freebies, you know, matters of private jets, not paying their taxes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Taylor Swift tickets.
they made out they were whiter than white, and they're not, and they're not even doing anything.
No.
I mean, some of this stuff might be more forgivable if they were actually improving the country, but the country is headed for ruin.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they've got their hands in the till.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, they've got a homelessness minister who had to resign because she made some people homeless. They've got a
corruption minister
who's currently on trial in Bangladesh. They've now got a business minister who's never done any business in his life and pretends that he's a solicitor. And you've now got Angela Rayner, who apparently set up the increase in stamp duty and council tax and now doesn't understand the system.
You would have thought if you had gone around complaining about taxation, complaining about second homes, you know, accusing people of not obeying the law, you would have thought she'd be very, very careful when she did something like buy a second home.
You would think.
And you make sure you got the best people and you really checked it out.
Yeah.
She clearly didn't.
No. Well, either she did and she didn't tell them what she was actually doing and therefore the advice was wrong, or she didn't sort of understand what they wanted to do. But essentially what
this is they don't think the rules are for them. They think the rules are for other people, they're for Tories, they're for people not like them. They think they are whiter than white, they are morally superior, and therefore the rules don't apply. And people can, it's just obvious.
Yeah.
It's why they're one of the many reasons they're so unpopular.
Exactly right. So should she resign, do you think?
Well, she should have resigned already.
Yeah.
She should have resigned already. I suspect this is going to drag on.
Hopefully not, because he's got the next sort of needle in the haystack, I guess, is Rachel Reeves. She's got even bigger problems in a way because she can't do her job.
Well, it's the whole country's problem.
Yeah.
It's the whole country's problem. The problem is Britain has been stagnant for actually longer than the Labour government's been in power, for almost 25 years. We haven't grown enough. We've been spending more and more money. We've got crazy policies like net zero that are making our energy costs sky high. It's killing British industry. It's killing the steel industry, the car industry. And they're doubling down on all of this stuff. They've spent more money. They've raised taxes. They've doubled down. It's getting worse. We are close to a cliff edge. Rachel Reeves has now been forced to deny that she's going to have to go to the IMF. We are headed for very, very serious trouble.
Well, the only growth industry right now is borrowing, isn't it? I mean, they're borrowing so much, and you write about this on Twitter quite a lot, in terms of the state of the markets, in terms of what happened when you were Prime Minister. It's not even comparable
all of these
anymore.
rates are higher than when I was Prime Minister, and when everyone was screaming blue murder, and it wasn't just the Labour Party, it was elements of the Tory Party, it was the press saying this is dreadful. But the reason I was doing what I was doing was to get growth going, because I knew that if we raised taxes, which is exactly what's happened, the debt would get worse, not better. But I was sabotaged by organisations like the Bank of England who thought they knew better, who thought taxes should go up. And we're now seeing what happens when you put tax on business up, which is businesses say, actually, we don't want to operate in Britain. Or they close down, or people say, we can't be bothered going out to work, we'd rather be on welfare. That's what happens when you put taxes up too much. It's what I said back in 2022, and instead of actually accepting that I was the elected leader of the Conservative Party with a mandate to do that, I was sabotaged.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And you can tell that now because the Bank of England is saying, even though the gilt rates are higher than they were in 2022, this is no problem.
Yeah.
It's no problem that we've got the highest borrowing
so
cost
are they
for 30 years.
Are they ideologically captured then? Is that
Completely. Andrew Bailey has done everything he can to keep Rachel Reeves in power. If you look at inflation is too high, and yet he cut interest rates to try and help Rachel Reeves, even though his chief economist said you shouldn't be cutting interest rates. He is doing everything he can to back the Chancellor, and when this all goes down, which it will, and we can see it happening now, it's not just her to blame. It's also the Bank of England. It's the Office of Budget Responsibility, by the way, who's run by somebody from the Resolution Foundation, the same think tank that Torsten Bell is part of.
And all of those guys are right in the middle of it now.
And they all believe in high taxes. They all believe in big spending. We are seeing how that is working out now.
Yeah. And how soon do you think before it gets to a sort of critical mass? And what does that look like? What does that mean for the economy?
Well, Rachel Reeves has delayed the budget till late November in the hope that something will turn up. That some magical growth is going to appear from somewhere. And we know that's not true. If you speak to business people, they are thinking about closing. They're thinking about leaving the country. So I believe that things this autumn are going to get worse, that she is going to be forced into doing some kind of spending cuts ultimately. And who knows whether Labour MPs vote for that. They weren't even willing to vote for some quite modest welfare savings. So,
I mean, I'm surprised Rachel Reeves is going to be here by November the 26th, because frankly, her performance would suggest that she doesn't know what she's doing, and she's not a very good Chancellor.
Well, look, she is taking dictation from the Treasury and the Bank of England. I've seen all those policies before. They were offered up to me. They have a list of these things like, do you want to means test winter fuel allowance? Do you want to raise corporation tax? And she has accepted the orthodoxy. So is Keir Starmer. I mean, even if Rachel Reeves was sacked, are any of the others really going to be doing anything different? What's their big idea?
The narrative is already that she's the most qualified person, which is terrifying, isn't it?
But what's their big idea? Because they were the people who advocated higher taxes, more spending, more green policy. Ed Miliband's net zero is killing British industry. And of course, he started it back in 2008. It was his climate change bill that started all this, all the green ideology, which has meant our energy prices are sky high. So they've got to, their entire ideology is being repudiated. That's their problem.
And so if you got rid of Rachel Reeves, I don't know if you think she should go, but if she was to go...
I don't think it matters if she goes, because I believe that it's the institutions like the Treasury, the Bank of England, the OBR, they've been ideologically captured. They believe in big spending, big taxation. They believe in net zero. The Bank of England has been championing net zero as well. The whole lot of them have to be disproved, and they have to be... So it's not good enough just to replace a person number 11. You've actually got to replace the whole...
Well, this is what I was going to get on to next, because the Bank of England also championed...
Nothing can change until your thinking changes. Those powerful words from the late Dr. Myles Munroe ring true today. Liz Truss argues that Britain is trapped in a cycle of woke, left-wing ideology. People in the highest positions of power believe high taxes, excessive spending, open borders and net zero policies are the path to growing the UK economy. But are they right? Ideology is essentially the ideas and thoughts people hold about how the world works and should work. If your ideas are flawed, your leadership will falter. If your thinking is off, you cannot see possibilities or anticipate consequences clearly. Sadly, both the Tories and Labour have clung to this mindset, and it's dragging Britain into a downward spiral. No one in power seems willing to admit the country is on the wrong path. Until these leaders are replaced or their thinking shifts, things will either stagnate or more likely worsen. You cannot expect change if you keep the same mindset and repeat the same actions. It's not just about switching from one party to another. It's about leaders in power abandoning what doesn't work for what does. They must renew their mindset, or Britain will be led by leopards who cannot change their spots. Look at the United States. High taxes, excessive spending, open borders, and net zero were the Democrats' playbook. It tanked the US economy and frustrated the American people. President Trump, with a completely different mindset, was voted back into office. His approach of lowering taxes on businesses sparked a flood of investments, revitalizing the economy. Meanwhile, the UK has done the opposite. Businesses are shutting down, the wealthy are leaving, and jobs are disappearing, leaving less revenue for the government. It's time for UK leaders to wake up, admit their plans aren't working, and commit to think differently. Renewing their mindset is the first step to putting Britain back on the path to success. If you're ready to dive deeper into how a renewed mindset can transform not just leadership but entire nations, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Share your thoughts in the comments. What changes do you want to see in Britain's leadership? Let's keep this conversation going. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.